I'm gonna take you to 2018, which was your second world title, and I mean, you went into that race as world champion. Just how important was it for you, this race? It got you sat on the start there back in 2018.
Yeah, I think that was probably our worst regatta of the whole 2 years we were together, we thought. Or like in terms of how we were actually rowing. Like our heat, I think we only won our heat by about a second to the Germans.
Yeah.
And then I think we kind of, after this, our heat wasn't that great. Then our semi was a little bit better, and we kind of worked a few things out during the week. Yeah, like we to win it back to back.
What kind of things? I mean, what were you working out? What sort of things? How you put the front end, or the cohesion, or the release?
Yeah, just probably it's more of maybe the front end for us, but that like the draw of the stern. So we try and just keep that stern always up and keep it running the whole time. Because when the stern goes in the water, if we're at the front and if we're at the front of the stroke and the stern's going down, then it's just going to get heavy and heavy. So we just try and like make sure we've got that timing of the pickup, all together kind of thing. We always talked about like picking the boat up as one, like or we always say we're all on one leg press together, and we're always pushing the legs together. So like when we worked it out during the week, and we got things going, like we got it right on the day. So
yeah, I mean, you weren't leading in the first sort of 250, 300, but you must have had amazing pace after from about 350 onwards.
Yeah. So so at this point of the race, we just try and keep it alive, really. I don't know. Don't want to keep too much away.
No.
So like just that period there, just try and keep the boat alive, keep it going, really, and then try and just punch through that 500 meter mark with really get that middle K going.
You had phenomenal. I mean, to do that to a field in the first, from that distance, 350 to 1,000, that's phenomenal pace.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't hold that pace to the end, really. That was the problem, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you were still there at 1,500 meters, and then the race got interesting.
Yeah, I think so. As we were saying, like, this probably wasn't our greatest regatta for the whole 2 years that we were together. We as a crew, we didn't think we were moving the boat that, as best as we did that season. I think maybe Lucerne, we had it going pretty well. Because we won that race by a bit. I think the Dutch and I can't remember who was third. Yeah, I remember we won Lucerne that year. Yeah. That was the British?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. No. I can't remember who was third. God, that's going to get me.
Yeah.
Maybe the Germans, maybe.
Yeah.
But we won Lucerne that year, and I thought that at that point in time, I think we had the boat going quite well. After we got back from Henley, and we came to Lucerne, and we thought we had the boat moving quite well there. And then we went on camp in Australia and had a few injuries with myself, and then we just didn't quite have it as good as we had at that point.
Yeah,
but it would have been nice to hold that margin, definitely, but. And then, it obviously cost us, yeah.
So at the finish, I mean, literally there was less than a metre between you. Did you always know you had that race?
Yeah, well, for the 2017, 2018 was always the last 100 metres for me, definitely. And I think talking to the rest of the boys is like, just don't do anything that's going to cost you the race. So I don't know. I can't really remember it, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, just hold on, we got enough. Just, don't catch a crab or stuff it up. So, yeah, a bit closer than what we would have liked, but still, you win. So
And the
intra mile, as Spencer would always say.
So the feeling of winning the world title for the second time for you, what was that? Because people talk about, you do it once and then you kind of need to repeat it because just to show it wasn't a fluke or something like that.
Yeah, well, that was definitely our whole thing. It was like, oh, maybe, the year after the games always is seen as like a weaker year. That's how they see it. Like if you're going to win the next year, the year after the games. So to go back to back was a big thing for us. And yeah, to get that feeling again, make the training all worthwhile.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably the hardest thing about 2019 was, doing all the training and then not getting the result in which you, wanted. Obviously you can't always, but we, and you go through everything and you don't get what you want, and it's kind of like, well, we're going to do it all over again to try and get that feeling back. So
let's talk about the training and your coach Ian Wright in particular, because he came to you with a set plan in mind, and you moved into these centres, guys in Canberra and the women at Sydney. But he has a particular approach, just with the training, the physiology, very competitive, I gather, and a particular style of how he wants you to row. So how was it to adapt to what Ian did when you came in?
Well, I think the competitive stuff, like some people, it works really well for. Like I really enjoy it, and because I think that I'm quite good at just getting back there the next day and being able to repeat the same kind of effort, where some people really can't. Like, they have more of like a sprinter kind of physiology. So, but I'm more of a base kind of guy. So the long Ks and the competitive stuff really suits me, and I really like it.
Yeah.
But it definitely has helped having everyone here together, because the standard just shot up so much. Like, especially like you look at that 2018 year where the 8 went 5:19 in the heat.
Yeah.
The quad got a silver. We won gold, and like this 8 won silver. Like, it just just having everyone together and having that competitiveness really like brings everyone up a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of technique, I think that was definitely like the everyone calls it like stop at the back or whatever, but that was always been the Australian kind of way. So, well, like you look at Drew and Duncan and stuff, like they always did it, and then like probably not as much. We definitely didn't do it as much. I know in my years racing overseas before, we didn't have it as much, but it was always kind of like just patient through the back, let the boat go a bit. I know Healy's always had it. Same with Gus Moore when they rode the pair together in 2014 and 13 earlier. They would always have a bit like a nice like gather at the back.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a change for us to, bring that technique into our thing. It was already kind of there for most of us anyway. So, but yeah, no, it's been good having everyone together. It just kind of lifts the standard, and it just makes it more of a team environment.
Yeah,
you're with each other all the time, and just it's been good. It's been really good.
What do you do when you're not rowing? Do you do any study? Do you sleep or eat?
Yeah. I was studying the first 2 years I was here, and then kind of like coming into the Tokyo, I was like, oh, okay, I'll just really try and focus on my rowing.
Yeah.
But then now, like if we're not rowing, I don't know, I got a German short head pointer, so that takes a fair bit of a fair bit of
exercise.
fair bit of time out of my day. Yeah, and so I live with Gus Whitcomb as well, and he's got one as well.
Yeah.
So they caught their first pig the other day, so that was good. Yeah, we were at my uncle's farm out here in Canberra, and we saw a couple of pigs, and they went after them and caught them. So that was a bit of fun for the afternoon. So,
wow.
But no, yeah, but if we're not training, we're just kind of recovering really. just trying to get ready for the next day. Or yeah.
I just before I moved off the technique, I just wanted to talk to you about if you're pausing off the back. So it's the most important thing how you approach the front. You know, when you've had that pause at the back.
Yeah.
Is that a trick, or is that a skill that you have to learn? Because you know, talking to Ian Wright a while back now, he said, you know, if he wanted people to get the way that he wanted them to row, he would put them in a 4 with you and Hilly, because you guys had sort of the knack, whatever that was.
Yeah. So the thing would be, it's definitely how you approach the front, and like just kind of it's like just staying off the stern. So it's like if you come onto the stern too early, then it's just gonna like go back into the water, and it's just gonna like then it'll get heavy. So you want to like try and we always would talk about like drawing the feet to us.
Yeah.
You know, lean the boat, come underneath us and move forward, and we just kind of like sit still and just let the boat like suck underneath.
Yeah.
And then but then like you watch a few crews roll around, and they're like, you know, starting to, maybe some crews are starting to, you know, gather at the back, and then they run forward, but then their blade's not in the water at the front. So if it like, you have to time it quite well around that front end.
Yeah.
Like that's the really critical part, because if you pause at the back and you rush forward, or not rush forward, but you like, you know, a bit of an increase in the slide speed on the way forward, and you stop, and then you stop at the front as well, and don't put your blade in the water, it's going to be quite a hard rhythm to row.
Yeah.
Above 24, there's no pause. So at 20 there is. So it's kind of like you're always just, I don't know. It's just kind of, you're always just practicing that front turn, like catch speed. So, but yeah, I'd say that'd be a thing. Gus Moore would always say if he was in the bow 7-8 and it was going well, that he would feel like he's getting sucked out there. Like the boat would just suck him out there, and he'd literally just sit there, and that's all he had to do, and the boat would just suck underneath him. So when he said that, we knew we were rowing quite well.
Yeah. So I mean, you mentioned in terms of rowing in an 8, was it 2018 you had that fantastic race at Henley in the final of the Grands, where you had a fantastic race in the semi where you beat the British 8, I think.
Yeah, I think the British one was probably a bit better to
was it?
Well, in terms of beating them on their home ground kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think like obviously winning the ground was great, and beating the Romanian race was tight, but I think, you know, beating the British on their home course, like a lot of those guys row out of Leander and stuff, and beating them there was you know, it was a good thing. And then I think the final was
that's you on the start of the final. So
yeah. I think I remember halfway through the final, when the Romanians had about length on us, I think we're all thinking, God, we better have a good excuse for this one, like to tell Ian. But
did you have any idea how fast you were moving?
No, not at all. I thought we were going dead slow, because we were getting absolutely, like, we were so far behind. I thought we were like going dog slow. I had no idea how quick we were going. And then I remember seeing the puddles, because down the front when you're in 7 seat, you have, like, you know, you lose contact on the boat next to you, like you think they're gone. And I remember seeing the puddles were getting a little bit bigger, and I was like, all right, well, I was like, Healy, yep, I think we got them, because like they're starting, like I knew we had enough water left to make up the margin. And the puddles were getting bigger and bigger. And then I saw the stern, and I was like, yeah, it's done. So it was a good race, but it would have been nice to do it the other way around, just kind of, you know, just lead from the front and like we lead the whole way down the course. But I don't know, it was an entertaining race to watch.
Yeah, it was one of the most entertaining races to commentate on, that, you know, because it was such a fast race, and the Romanians were so brave. In the way they race, you know, because man for man, they probably weren't as strong, you'd think, as the British 8.
Yeah, I think so. Our thing was like I think the the heaviest guy in our crew was like 94 kilos or something. So I think like power wise, they probably had it on us, but I think they may, like raw power, but our power to weight, definitely we would have had a lot more, watts per kilo than compared to them. But yeah, no, it was a good race. I think the rating was quite high the whole way down the course, but I think the rating's a byproduct of the speed. So like if you're going fast, then you can rate higher. So and I was like, that's kind of what it was. It's like, I think we're like 44 coming into the line, but it felt pretty long. So yeah. No, that was a good race. Henley it was nice. It was my first time there, so.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think I was the only one that hadn't been there before. Yeah, it was my first time. Yeah, or maybe Alex Purnell. He hadn't been. The guy who sat in 6 seat. He hadn't been. He had.
I mean, that was amazing because it was kind of like a scratch 8, wasn't it?
Yeah, so in 2017, in World Cup 3 at Lucerne, we jumped in the 8 as well after.
Yeah.
So we got it was our 4, and then Alex, Tim Masters, Hamish Playfair, can't remember who else. Gus Moore. I think that might be it. Yeah, that's 4. And then so that one. Yeah, we really stuffed that one up, I reckon.
Do you think you could have won
that? Yeah. Our start was horrible. I think Germans obviously have a great start, but we lost half a length to them or something. It was more. It was like 3/4 a length to them, and then from the K, we just we looked across and like, all right, plan B, and we just kind of jacked it a bit, and then we pulled back level with them. But I think if we had a bit better start, we probably could have pulled away from them. I'm not going to say I go into every race thinking I'm going to win, so I'm not going to say I thought we would have lost. I think we weren't. The thing that we put it down to was the joggly water before the start, because we're doing start practice, and we did a few starts in the warm up, and it wasn't that great, and everyone's a bit worried, it's not going that well. But you forget on the start line, the water's pretty flat, so I think we're a bit everyone's a bit holding back a bit out in that first 250, just so no one wanted to stuff it up. So I think if we just were like, nah, it's all good, let's go, I think we probably could have knocked them off. That's what after the race. That's what we thought, but anyway, we didn't, so it doesn't matter. So,
but for you guys to come into that 2018 against the British 8 as a scratch crew, because Alex Purnell in the quads that year?
Yeah, so he rode the quad that year. He's just always we've always found in the 8 that he's just in the 6 seat. He just gives you look at him, he's a twig. He's got no he's not got no muscle on it. Oh, he's got a bit of muscle now. He's doing a lot of bicep curls in the gym, but he's not like a big strong guy or anything like that, but he just gives he just rows so long. He's just so consistent with what he does. So it kind of it just would let us set the rhythm up quite well, and he would just give so much length to that the bow 6. Because it's just cool. Alex is just really, me and Hilly kind of set the rhythm, and Alex would just be there, just backing us up the whole time.
Yeah.
So he was running the quad that, and then we were kind of going with trying some combinations for it, and we went to Ian and we're like, Alex's last year in the 8 worked well, and all the 8s we rode with him, he's good when he just sits there and just sets it up for everyone. So yeah. And then we decided to pull him out of the quad. So the quad had 3 people for a week, but I think they didn't. Yeah, they were roaming around crazy with 3 people.
I love that.
But it worked. It worked well for us, and so no, it's all good.
Yeah, and is there a thing? I mean, I know there's a thing. Australia and the British. I mean, it's so good to come to Henley and beat the British on their home water. You mentioned the semi-final, taking more pleasure out of that row than the final, almost.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. It was if they came and did it to us over here, I'm sure they would think the same thing. So, but Gus Moore had some nice, passionate words for us before our race. So no, he got us fired up for that. So
he's been an icon up there in the bows of that 8, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he's recently retired, which is a bit of a he's one of my he just didn't want to continue rowing anymore at a competitive level, which is quite sad. Like, he was one of our best mates. So and I've known him for years and rowed with him for a long time. But yeah, no, he's a big loss for us, definitely. Just in terms of like his personality and the way how hard he trains, like you never see someone train harder than him. So yeah, like he'd put himself to the sword like every day. So, and like he's not the hasn't got the best like system on him. Well, it's good, but it's like not compared to some people here, and he would end himself every day. Like he's someone like we would always trust him in the bow seat.
Yeah,
because he had like such like just a great his boat feel was just phenomenal kind of thing. He just knew every if it wasn't working well or a bit of trouble, he'd just like have a few words for us, and then they were pretty much on the money all the time. So it's a big loss for us really to lose Gus, but yeah, I think he's happier outside of rowing. So that's good. So
it's really important.